To place a spacecraft around this icy moon is to sentence it to a swift, agonizing death. Yet we built a machine capable of diving straight into the fire, just to ask if we are truly alone. For centuries, humanity looked to the heavens, searching for a mirror in the dark. We stared at the red deserts of Mars, seeking remnants of a faded past. But the ultimate answer was never waiting on a dry, sunlit world. It was hidden 500 million miles away, locked inside the domain of a cosmic titan. As we plunge into the outer solar system, the true monster looms: Jupiter. A colossal gas giant wrapped in violent, thousands of miles wide storms, ruled by the terrifying, roaring vortex of the Great Red Spot. To find the secret of life, we must dare to look past this chaotic wall of radiation and gas, descending deep into the shadow of the giant. Because the ultimate truth does not lie within the fire of the storm, but in the silent embrace of its most enigmatic companion. This is Europa, a world encased in a jagged armor of solid ice, floating through the silent vacuum like a pale, silent siren. Beneath this bone-chilling crust, where the sun is reduced to a distant, dying spark, lies an impossibly deep, pitch-black abyss. An ocean of liquid water, twice the volume of all Earth's seas combined, kept warm not by daylight, but by the gravitational violence of Jupiter. For a decade, a monument to human curiosity was built in the clean rooms of Earth. A robotic martyr designed to brave a radiation hell, just to ask a single, terrifying question: are we truly alone in the dark? To reach the ocean, the explorer must first survive the monster. At first glance, it appears as a majestic jewel of storm and gas, spinning silently in the frozen deep. But Jupiter is not a gentle giant. It is a planetary engine of pure malevolence. As the familiar banded clouds fade, the planet sheds its beautiful disguise to reveal a chaotic matrix of unseen, violent forces. As the invisible lines of force bleed into view, the true scale of this titan is laid bare. This is not mere gravity. It is an invisible empire of absolute electromagnetic terror. A colossal web of lethal energy spanning millions of miles, ready to smother any explorer that dares to breach its borders. While Earth's modest magnetic shield acts as a peaceful cradle to protect life, Jupiter's field is weaponized, warped into a colossal magnetic cage. Stripping away the gas giant's violent atmosphere reveals the churning, metallic hydrogen core deep within, acting as the heart of this cosmic trap. It ensnares billions of subatomic particles, whipping them into a continuous, blistering torrent of radiation. Into this invisible gauntlet, a lonely emissary of mankind dives, entirely exposed to the wrath of the Jovian system. To stand in this domain, to venture into Europa's orbit, is to step directly into a cosmic particle accelerator. The radiation dose here is millions of times stronger than a human chest X-ray, capable of frying advanced silicon chips and tearing through metal hulls within days. It is a high-stakes gauntlet of modern science, where every second survived brings us one step closer to unlocking the secrets of an alien ocean. High above the blue cradle of Earth, the silent voyage begins. Cut loose from the fiery gravity of its homeworld, NASA's Europa Clipper separates from its final booster, drifting into the pristine, freezing vacuum. It is a moment of profound, absolute isolation. Behind it lies everything we have ever known, fading into a fragile blue speck. Ahead, a 5.5-year journey across a trackless ocean of dark space. In the quiet dark, the mechanical giant slowly awakens. Watch as its massive solar arrays, spanning the height of a monument, begin their complex, robotic choreography. One by one, these giant wings unfold in the absolute silence of the void. Because at Jupiter, 5 times further from the Sun than Earth, daylight is reduced to a faint, dying ember. These solar wings must act as colossal nets, stretched wide across the darkness to catch the precious, scattered photons of a distant star. Without them, this cold Voyager would quickly freeze into a dead block of useless metal. But electricity alone is not enough. The machine must also find its senses. Across its metallic frame, a complex synthetic nervous system begins to bloom. Watch as the long magnetometer booms and delicate spider-like radar antennas slowly extend into the empty void. They reach out like fragile metallic whiskers, ready to feel the invisible magnetic fields of the solar system, and eventually peer through miles of alien ice. With every single joint locked into place, a silent, lifeless metal chassis is transformed into a highly sensitive, living explorer. It is a masterpiece of human defiance, preparing its mind for the merciless, cold abyss. But the path to the outer solar system is not a straight line. As the orbital pathways of Earth and Jupiter illuminate the cosmic map, the spacecraft must execute a precise gravitational theft. Racing through the void, it aligns with the red deserts of Mars, diving close to steal a fraction of the planet's momentum. Guided by the unyielding laws of physics, the spacecraft skims the Martian atmosphere, converting planetary gravity into pure kinetic velocity. Slingshotting past the Martian world, the traveler gains the crushing speed required to cross the dark 500 million mile gulf. Ahead, the sovereign of the solar system looms. The colossal orbits of the Jovian system bleed into view, dominated by the majestic, swirling storms of Jupiter itself. And there, emerging from the giant's shadow at the 4-minute and 40-second mark, lies our target, Europa. A pale, icy jewel floating in a sea of lethal radiation. The spacecraft sails onward, drawing closer to the edge of the forbidden domain. Because of this invisible furnace, humanity could not do the obvious. We could not place a spacecraft into a permanent orbit around Europa. It would suffer a swift, agonizing electronic death. Instead, human engineers devised an elegant, dangerous dance. The spacecraft will sit in a hyper-eccentric orbit around Jupiter, diving into the radiation hell to strike Europa with surgical precision, and then fleeing back out into the safe, freezing dark to breathe. It is the cold, radioactive equivalent of touching the sun. At the 6-minute mark, the ice is finally within reach. Swooping down to the frozen horizon, the Clipper begins its detailed, intimate survey of an alien world. As it glides over the jagged fractures and reddish scars of the crust, its advanced sensors pierce the frozen armor. By shifting its path with every single flyby, the robotic explorer scans different corridors of ice, gradually piecing together a complete map of this mysterious moon. We are not just looking at a dead sphere of ice. We are searching for the warm, churning chemistry of Genesis, seeking to find if, beneath the frozen shield, a living ocean is waiting to be found. As this metal pioneer skims just miles above the silent ice, we stand on the very edge of a revolution in human history. If even a single microbe stirs in that deep, pitch-black abyss, our lonely place in the cosmos will be rewritten forever. Until that day comes, we watch, we listen, and we wait, reaching across the dark void to touch the shores of an alien sea. This requires a machine of unprecedented scale. In the sterile white sanctuaries of Jet Propulsion Laboratory, engineers forged the largest planetary spacecraft NASA had ever constructed. At its core sits a fortress within a fortress. A heavy, thick-walled vault made of pure titanium and aluminum. This armored box houses the central computers, acting as a shield against the subatomic daggers of Jupiter. Every wire, every sensor, every weld was a calculated act of defiance against a hostile universe. With its towering solar wings fully unfurled, this mechanical titan stands not just as a machine, but as a grand monument to human curiosity. For over a decade, thousands of minds poured their life's work into this single, priceless creation, knowing there would be no second chances in the deep. Now the Europa clipper stands complete, poised to leave the safety of its earthly cradle and sail directly into the jaws of the Jovian monster. And then there are the wings. To survive a brutal 6-year journey into the deep freeze of outer space, this explorer needs a relentless powerhouse. Because Jupiter sits 5 times further from the Sun than Earth, solar light is reduced to a pale, fading shadow. To extract every single drop of this dying energy, the probe was equipped with monumental solar arrays, stretching over 100 feet from tip to tip, larger than a professional basketball court. In the clean rooms of Earth, we witness its first, historic awakening. These wings are so colossal, so staggeringly massive, that engineers can only test and unfold one wing at a time. This is a delicate, giant butterfly made of silicon and carbon, yet built for extreme cosmic warfare. It is designed to endure temperatures dropping to -400 degrees Fahrenheit, all while flying through a relentless storm of invisible, radioactive bullets. Built by human hands, this engineering marvel is now ready to power our search for life, sending the secrets of Europa back to its creators. On a crisp autumn afternoon, the countdown expired.
And liftoff! Liftoff for Falcon Heavy with Europa Clipper, unveiling the mysteries of an enormous ocean lurking beneath the icy crust of Jupiter's moon, Europa.
A roar of chemical violence shook the Florida coast as a mega-rocket tore through the atmosphere, casting our mechanical pioneer out into the infinite vacuum.
For NASA, APL, and JPL. Let's watch.
Europa Clipper, separation
The
confirmed.
departure was final. Ahead lay a brutal 6-year cruise across nearly 2 billion miles of empty space.
Jupiter's icy moon, Europa. And what a sight!
Now they wait for acquisition of signal.
To gain the speed required to reach the outer solar system, the probe had to fall backward, skimming past Mars and looping back toward Earth, stealing the gravity of planets to catapult itself toward its frozen destiny. Watch it glide through the deep silence. For 6 long years, the machine exists in a state of semi-sleep, its electronic heart beating faintly in the frozen dark. There are no repair crews, no pit stops, no second chances. If a single micrometeorite punctures the hull, if a single line of code corrupts in the vacuum, the mission dies in absolute anonymity. Yet it flies on, guided entirely by the phantom mathematical equations left behind by its creators. In the year 2030, the silence shatters. The traveler arrives at the gates of the monster. Diving into the inner core of the Jovian system, the Europa Clipper begins its lethal, high-stakes ballet. Stripping away the veil of cosmic distance, it sweeps a mere 16 miles above the fractured ice plains of Europa. The onboard instruments awaken. Ice-penetrating radar shoots powerful radio waves straight into the crust, screaming through miles of solid ice to listen to the whispering echoes of the liquid world below. What it reveals changes human history forever. The data streams back to Earth in a torrent of binary code, reconstructing an alien topography. Look beneath the ice matrix. Below 20 miles of frozen armor lies a global ocean kept alive by geothermal volcanic vents. A world of eternal darkness, yet filled with the raw chemical ingredients of Genesis. By skimming through the water plumes erupting into space, the probe samples the alien sea without ever landing, tasting the molecular composition of an ecosystem completely divorced from Earth. Long after the Europa Clipper's electronics are finally choked by radiation, its metallic corpse will remain a ghost orbiting the gas giant, or a frozen monument on the ice. We are fragile, short-lived creatures trapped on a tiny blue fortress of rock. Yet we dared to construct a Titan, wrapped it in titanium, and sent it across the solar system to touch an alien sea. It is the ultimate monument to human intellect, that even in the absolute dark of a frozen universe, we refused to stop searching for life.